What's up, Panda dudes? Peter von Panda here. Hey, I just bought this watch, and I was kind of intrigued by it. It's not my first SO&CO New York watch, but generally, SO&CO is interesting. You know, kind of having something look like this. It looks like it'd be a luxurious New York brand, but SO&CO watches are inexpensive. I'm not actually that familiar with what the company's about. Like I said, I paid my own money for this bad boy, but I'm going to tell you what I think. I think they're affiliated with like Sterling or something like that. Now, they have a name like Soho or something, etc., etc. But what I've noticed now is that they have a huge line of watches, and basically, I'm not bagging on them. I mean, I guess I kind of am a little bit, but all of their watches seem to be very inexpensive and a, let's call it, heavily borrowed design of famous watches. This one I got because it was inexpensive and it looked like the Rolex Yachtmaster. Let's not fool around here, folks. It is a heavy borrow of the Yachtmaster. A watch that I actually is probably maybe one of my favorite Rolexes because you don't see it that often. Not like the Submariner or a Daytona. The Yachtmaster has kind of like this, this 3/4 full dial, right? This kind of timing element. In this case, it's the numbered hours 8 to 4, and then nothing on the bottom because you have this sub dial here, which is the ticking seconds hand. Now, obviously, this is not using an automatic Rolex movement. It's using some sort of Japanese quartz movement, I believe. But it certainly looks at a glance like the Yachtmaster. And some of the Yachtmasters actually come in some pretty garish colors with a lot of like gold and yellow on them. I'm not into that. But I thought this was actually a pretty attractive looking watch. So if you like the Yachtmaster, you like yachting watches, you like sailing or nautical themed watches, you don't want to spend a ton of money, you can definitely pick this up. I said this in one of my other SO&CO videos. They're kind of leveraging that ampersand, the and sign right there. It's on the crown, which is slightly domed. Everything has a polished, silver finish. Some crown protectors here. I mean, just look at the Yachtmaster. It looks just like it. But my other issue with this is that that's kind of been, I don't know, heavily used by the Bell & Ross watches. And I love Bell & Ross. I have them. So it's not really that unique to me to put that on there when someone else has kind of used that and sign, ampersand, kind of heavily already. The crown just pulls out. I thought it might be a screw down, but no, it just pulls out here. And then, the first position is a date. Rolls over the date. Okay. And then if I pull it out again, I'm assuming I get to timing. So there we go. We will roll through here so we can see that nice kind of little squishy crown a little bit to get in here. So I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, and you guys tell me if this company is associated with Sterling at all. I've liked the Sterling watches. I can tell you that just in terms of like a little bit of the wiggles on everything, it feels substantial in my hand, but it doesn't feel like a super high quality piece. I mean, it doesn't feel like a bad quality piece. The U.S. Polo Association watches maybe feel even a little cheaper, but they do some really interesting and I think pretty unique designs, kind of like Invicta. I've had Invictas in the past, really liked them. They've been good, long-lasting watches, and they do some really interesting. I mean, they have some really talented designers, I think. But it's the lugs don't droop down here very much. They're actually fairly short. Obviously, the band, which has kind of a dual tone, polished and brushed finish, which looks very good, is obviously flush with the case here. Polished case, polished edge. You've got the little notches on the edge here. I don't know if this bezel turns. No, why would it? So you've got the pip there up at the top. Despite it being kind of like a diver's watch, this doesn't move. The blue here is actually really nice looking. I am assuming it's like painted, but it looks like almost an anodized navy blue, a little bit of reflective. I think it's a nice looking watch. I mean, that's why I bought it. That's why I parted with some of my money to pick this up, because I was like, it's intriguing enough and it's cheap enough. I can take a flyer on it. I'll order it and take a look at it with you to see if you want to spend your money on it. SO&CO right there on the back, hardened mineral crystal. Japanese movement, water resistant to 100 meters. I probably wouldn't get this thing super wet. And then the ampersand on the back there again, with some diamond etching as well. Again, I think Bell and Ross on that, but obviously, as you look at the dial itself, you are making the assumption that they don't have kind of a problem heavily borrowing from other people's, you know, let's not call trademarks, design elements. How about that? Deployment clasp, which is actually fairly unique in watch in this price point. It says SO&CO there, etched on there, laser etched probably. A little piece of paper right there to kind of protect the buckle. Not exactly the easiest thing to get off. I'm going to just rip it off. So brushed finish. You know, fairly standard. You know, this is polished, which is kind of nice. It's not the cheapest deployment clasp I've ever seen, but it's a fairly economical clasp. But it's done pretty nicely. And like I said, very weighty, 44 millimeters, but it feels like a 50 millimeter watch in terms of weight. I mean, this thing is like all metal construction. It's like a 57 Chevy. I mean, they didn't put any exotic materials in this bad boy. It's going to be weighty. Now, I don't see any extra links or anything in the box. I didn't see any, and that's because the watch comes very, very loose. So if you want to punch out some links, all the extra links are on here, so they don't try to size it to the average person. I have a fairly large wrist too, so if you have a fairly large wrist, this might work for you right out of the box, but you're going to have to remove several links for most people. But if we just kind of make the assumption that this is what it's going to look like on an average wrist, 44 millimeters I think is a great size. It has nice presence. I mean, you know, I wouldn't be embarrassed to wear this, and I think it looks good. The only thing that I might find embarrassing or might be a little gun-shy about wearing this is that it obviously looks so much like a Yachtmaster that it's a little bit of a poser watch. But I think it looks good, you know? It's kind of like the Toyota MR2. It was kind of a poser car that looked like a Porsche Boxster. But you know what? I still liked it. I liked the Boxster more. But I still like the MR2. It was kind of a cool car, mid-engine, whole 9 yards. Obviously, a lot of borrowed design elements. Kind of like the RX-7, looking a lot like the Corvette. Is that a problem? Anyway, presumably a chronograph. Yep, look at that. And actually, the ticking is fairly smooth. And reset here on the bottom, slides all the way around. Let's just take a really close look at that dial. I mean, really subtle blues. I'm kind of going to have to get you some glare in there. You can see the hands are kind of blued. I think that's really attractive. The subdial here has a blue chapter ring on it with slight texturing. You can kind of see that there. Again, I'm sorry about the glare. And then the hand on that subdial is also blue. But it almost looks black, kind of like the outer ring here, unless you catch the light right. So I really like that. It's a cool effect. And then the same on these squares at the hours. They are also kind of this iridescent anodized blue-like color that I get the light to kind of glance over them for you to be able to tell that. And then chronograph obviously down there. The SO&CO, I actually like the style, the design of the name. I think it looks kind of premium, despite the fact that it's not an expensive watch or expensive brand by any means. And then the date window down here at like 4:30. Like I said, nice looking watch for the money. I think it's great. If you've liked the Yachtmaster design and sailing watch design, then pick this up because instead of a $25,000 watch, you can get a $50 or $60 watch. Now, the other thing I will say is don't order it from the SO&CO website. Lots of times I would recommend going there, and sometimes we can even get you discount codes for going directly to manufacturers' websites. SO&CO has kind of ridiculous pricing. They're a little bit like Invicta. I think this watch is $1,300 on the website, and I actually added it to my cart to see if they would actually adjust the price to where they actually kind of sell these things on the street, and it doesn't. It would literally charge me $1,300 for that. You got to be kidding me. So anyway, go out and shop for it anywhere. I'll put a link to SO&CO watches on Amazon. You can get them for $30, $40, $50. This one I got for about $60-something. And, you know, but I think at that price point, it's a decent watch. And I kind of like it. And I want you to like it too. So I want to give this bad boy away. And let's give this sucker away on June 3rd, 2017. I want someone out there who likes that kind of masculine, stylish, classic Rolex yacht timer. This one's called the Yacht Timer, by the way, which I also think is very similar to the Yacht Master from Rolex. To put this on the wrist, because I do think it's a nice watch. It seems robust. It has a lot of style, and it's just, I mean, even the details on the blue are really kind of impressing me. I would wear this. Absolutely, I would. And I paid money for it. So I'm obviously intrigued enough to part with my own money. June 3rd, I'll give the sucker away. Like this video, subscribe to my channel. Please share this video too. It helps me out. You know, the more traffic we can get here, the better things that I might be able to get my hands on to give away. And then comment on this video. Your comment will get you entered into the giveaway. Put the country that you live in somewhere in the comment, because I can only give this away to people who with a mailing address in the US or Canada, because that's where I can afford to ship it to. And then on the 3rd, I will pick one random commenter and get this sucker out to you. So you'll be able to put a SO&CO Yacht Timer on your wrist. Maybe one day if we get big enough, we'll put a Yacht Master on someone's wrist. Hopefully mine. Peter Von Panda. Out.